got no choice. It's either hoop or be a dope boy. I wanna roll in a Rolls Royce, but when you young and black, you ain't got no voice. His homie stabbed him in the back, watch for your own boy. She sold a link to pay her rent.
It's interesting because most of the people in my life right now are you all's age.
Yeah.
And it's so bananas. It's like hanging out with my kids, which I don't even do that much. Not really. So I support LinkUp because the way I understood it to be, it really was a collaboration of businesses or like-minded people or like-minded businesses. So that's one of the things that I like to do best is link people up. The Clarks can tell you, I'm always going, ooh, I know who you should talk to about that. I love doing that. I love making people feel like they have some place to go. Like, oh, I don't know, but Edie might know. And I just enjoy doing that. I like to give people what they want, what they need. So I felt like LinkUp was an extension of that. And I also kind of related to property or to real estate. It seemed like to me when they explained it was, oh, it's a building where all these businesses are and then they all get to link up in the lobby. So I very often will picture things like that in my mind or draw a different kind of picture.
Yeah, you definitely do that. I know it's been multiple projects we've worked on and I'm like, well, what do you mean? And all of a sudden we're talking about a building and a construction site, but I follow you.
Well, yeah, because David's in construction, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, like I said, that's kind of what made me really want to do the link up thing. You know, talking to you, earlier, like you said, today's my. What is it today or is it like?
Isn't that amazing? No, it's next month. Yeah, I was watching some videos, trying to get ready for videos and going through old pictures, trying to get ready for another project that we're doing, and I was like, that was David at the meeting. It was at the November meeting. He said, my wife would be interested in that.
Yeah, see, that's the Edie we know. I was just telling him, that's your signature right there. From meeting.
I stopped using it. I started using these little thingies.
No, but you're so much clearer on that, actually.
Oh, okay. All right, good.
Can you hear the kids really loud?
I hear the kids. You got kids. What are you supposed to do? You got kids.
What I said, this is real life.
You got kids.
Right.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't know. I guess I just really kind of want to, I don't know. So it's a lot of stuff going on too, like with the lottery and all of that stuff. Like, how you feel about like the way that played out? Like, do you feel like it was fair or do you feel like it should have been done differently? Or do you feel like, okay, how about this? In a perfect world, right? If the lottery played out perfectly, the way it was supposed to play out, like, what would that look like?
Well, there would definitely be more people who look like me on the list in a perfect world. But I do feel like even with all of the mistakes that were made on the state side, I feel like those were mistakes. I don't feel that there was malice or bad intentions. But when you rush things, you make mistakes. I've been saying, you all have heard me say a million times, this thing went way too fast. It was way too much to roll out in 6 months. I feel like those mistakes should be corrected in the best way possible, but I don't feel like we should rush again to try to correct those mistakes, because once you try to solve for something and you haven't thought about all of the consequences, you may end up fucking something else up. Can we cuss?
You can say whatever you want.
Okay.
yourself, be comfortable. Shit. That, I mean, because really, you know, people my age, you know, like we relate to people being real with us. You know what I'm saying? So that's really what I just want to do, and that's why I said it's good for people to see the way you interact with us and the way you talk with us. Because
I cuss a lot usually.
Hey,
So.
Listen, I know you as a human being, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, you seem like a round person to me. Like, you know what I mean? 3-dimensional. Some of these people be flat as hell, and I don't really be knowing what's to them. You know?
Yeah. So about the lottery, I say all that, but I still believe that the state did follow its own rules, right? Even though the process had flaws and the people who were in the process made mistakes, I do feel like what was written and how we all studied it was done to those letters. You understand the difference? So what was written in the law, how we studied it, how we all looked at it, how we all interpreted it, it did what they said it was going to do on the law side. Now, when you add in humans and human error and rushing, then that's when you make mistakes.
Yeah, so that makes sense. How do you feel like the tiebreaker process and those emergency rules played into the end result when you think about what the actual intent was? Do you think that affected it at all?
Well, they had to have some sort of tiebreaker. They realized, and I realized months ago as well, that there were going to be a whole bunch of perfect scores. They realized that in December when they made the some of the exhibits be, what's the word I'm looking for? Not unilateral, not bilateral, not blah, blah, blah. There's a word where you get all the points or nothing. What's the word I'm looking for?
Binary.
When the department said it's going to be this or that, 50 or nothing, on a lot of the exhibits, that's when I knew. So that was back in November, December, when they did the FAQs. I said, oh, everybody's going to get a perfect score. Everybody's going to get a perfect score. Now, the reason that everybody didn't get a perfect score is because of the mistakes. So they had to figure out what to do about all the anticipated perfect scores.
Right. Okay.
There was, you know, it's like if you got 400 perfect scores, then what are you going to do for 75 licenses? You got to have a lottery. Because they didn't even start mentioning the word lottery until November, December. Remember?
Yeah. So, I mean, even when you think about the actual definition of lottery, like, how can that then...
It's by chance, right?
Right. So...
Yeah, but what's your answer?
I mean, right. I mean, I look at it like this is supposed to be to put people ahead who started behind the finish line to kind of compensate for like that. You know?
Yeah. I mean, that's what equity is assisting that person, so bringing them up to the level at which they are equally accessible.
What they need. Well, to me, equity is giving each what each needs in order to be on an even playing field. But there is, you know, in some ways the state's hands were tied because they had to make sure that this was constitutionally legal. These couldn't be the black licenses. And on the other side too, we couldn't say no white people. We couldn't say that. Or not we. Them. They couldn't say that.
Right.
So it had to still stand up to the Constitution.
Okay.
So it was not an easy fucking thing to do. That's why I keep saying it was too fast. I said it was I got a call from one of the reps' aides who was trying to get me to buy in on the whole +1 thing. Edie, do you think, there's not going to be enough dispensaries on January 1st? And I was like, yeah, that's probably true. And then I go, wait, what's January 1st? She said, well, that's when it's going to go legal. And I was like, oh, why? And she said, well, that's when it's going to be. I said, but why? That's too fast. That was a year ago.
Right.
So who said that?
One of the legislators' aides. They were trying to get us to buy in and to put forth that we were going to support the +1s.
Right.
So in that context, I was like, well, yeah, it's not going to be enough, really. But what's January 1st? Why are we picking that date? That's arbitrary.
Man.
That's too fast. But that's when the governor said he wanted to do it. So once that date was set in stone, we had to back everything up to that date. Right. The at that point, the law wasn't even signed or finished when that conversation happened. So we still had to finish the law, get it passed, get it implemented, come up with the rules, come up with the application. Like, okay, so now people are able to apply. Well, what does that mean? I don't know. Let's figure it out. So all in like a few months.
So can you talk more about that? Like, what was your role? What role did you play in that legislation?
Not very big. We were just, so in 2018, when it looked like when JB was running on cannabis, he was like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do cannabis. And we were like, cannabis? Somebody say recreational cannabis? Let's get started. So we had some things that we had been learning from other states about social equity and about how to roll out, things that we should try to work towards. We threw everything at the wall, all kinds of spaghetti at the wall. We were like, we want delivery. We want mobile licenses. We want to be able to have a little peddler's cart and, you have a little peddler's thing and sell weed like that. We threw everything. We were like, we want all this stuff. And they were like, well, how about this is what we have? And that was the first iteration of R3. And we said, this ain't enough. How about you add some of our stuff too? And so they did. There's a lot of stuff that we wrote that's actually in the law. Some that didn't make it, but that didn't discourage me at all because every January we get to do what, David? Lobby. Right. Which is so fun, isn't it?
I ain't gonna lie, it's really the best thing that's probably happened to me.
Hey, Junior.
Hi.
What's that?
She done came in with some
Hey, look at that.
Don't do that.
Some Reggie. No, it's some hemp though. This is dope.
That is dope.
Ancestral. Okay, you gotta plug that. Say it again. You'll be on Do Something with Ancestral Winery. Yes, Kenya and Julian Sample.
They were supposed to apply for the grant. They didn't, but you did.
Yes, I plug did. Yourself, ma'am. Yes,
I love that.
Earth and everybody. I'm Candace Clark Jr., also known as Candle the Farm Plug, and I was just hanging out in the hundreds with the farming homies, and so they gave me. I got some tomatoes, and they just gave me a couple of little things.
I love it.
Yeah, as you can see, this is regular activity.
I love it.
All right. That was all.
See you later.
Here, y'all can have this. Thank you.
So, what was I saying? No,
Lobbying.
Yeah, because I'm not gonna lie, like that was a really empowering experience for me. You know what I'm saying? I got to go down there. I met with a state senator, Kimberly Lightford. Sat down with her. She was real cool, personable. Talked to me about what was going on in my community. Asked me some of the concerns that I felt. She actually like educated me as to like what she was doing as a legislator to make changes for me and my homies.
That's
and
hot shit.
my family.
That's
So
hot
I
shit.
was like, yeah, I love that. So I was like, man, damn, this is like what's the shit with the schoolhouse rocks? Like, damn, I'm getting my schoolhouse rocked right now. This shit's crazy. And she's looking at me like, that's a great idea, young man. Well, you know, let's talk more about that. How you see that working? I'm like, damn, I'm powerful as hell. I just had to come down here and talk to somebody.
It's really, really powerful. The first time I ever did it, I was in DC, and I felt the exact same way. I was like, who we get to see next? Oh my gosh, where are we going? And it was the coolest thing. I was like, these people are at work. We only see them on the news, right? I was like, I saw that guy on the news, and I was doing it with my husband Craig, and he knows it all. He's very much into politics. And I was like, my God, I know that guy. And it was just the coolest thing. I was like, I love this. This is so fun.
Yeah.
Especially when you're going there with about something you believe in.
That you care about, that directly affects you and your community.
It's a caterpillar on this wheel.
That's empowering in itself. So
Absolutely.
Can you tell us about some things that you've been doing in order to encourage other people to lobby? How are you educating your community about the power in lobbying?
Well, I'm the executive director of Chicago NORML, and NORML is a local chapter for the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws. What the hell? And so what we do is that's what we do all the time. We talk to people about getting more civically engaged. It's all about cannabis, but once you learn this about cannabis, you can be civically engaged about whatever you care about. Junior's involved with farming, so now she knows how to do that for whatever her passion is. These lawmakers are here, and they are in charge of our money, our transportation, our food, our weed, everything. And so one of the things that I've learned and one of the things that I teach is that those lawmakers, when you went down to see Kimberly Lightford, she hears from hundreds of people like you all the time, all with different causes and concerns. So it's up to you to tell her about weed. It's up to you to tell her about cannabis and how it helps. It's up to Junior to tell her about, the disparities that we have in our communities about food. They don't know what we know. We know what we know because we've been studying it. So we just go and we tell them, we're like, look, we need you to say yes. We need you to sign here. We need you to tell your friends. That's all it is. It's linking people up.
Hello.
Hey, so Edie, I've been real big lately on asset mapping. And
Really?
Yeah, like I've been trying to help people who I bump into and stuff like that. A lot of people in our community, it's not hard to find someone in a rut. You know what I'm saying? So you can go talk something positive to somebody, so asset mapping, I feel like it's a great thing because the first thing that it requires you to do is to assess yourself and the resources that you have as an individual. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's a big part of what we were just talking about, lobbying and stuff like that, is you need to recognize the problems in your community, but not just sit back and be a victim. You know what I'm saying? Actually think of actionable plans and ways to, make a difference. And then don't just sit on them and just have ideas. Go outside and do something. Go outside and put action to it. And you might end up at lobby day just like I did, and learn a lot of stuff or make a lot of change or do a lot of.
It's true. It's really true. Figure out, we say that all the time. You've heard me say, grow where you're planted, right? What do you have? What do you bring? What do you what do you already do that can help your community or help your cause or help your family. Even it can be even smaller than that, to help your school or your building. Maybe you live in a big building and there's a problem and you know how to fix that problem.
Yeah.
Y'all so cute.
No, I mean, that's dope though, because I mean, that's all we talk about all day. It's just like,
I mean, that's really all that we did. Like how we were talking about in the beginning, that first meeting that you went to, when you said, who knows about IT? And he came home and said, hey, you know about IT, can you call her? You need to talk to her. And from that, I mean, a lot of relationships, a lot of networking, a lot of things grew from that. So I definitely appreciate you. Thank you for that. Thank you for being one of the first people to link up.
Yay, look what's growing from there. David always says, you brought us to Lobby Day. I'm like, no, I didn't. I just told you about it.
He tells that story a lot.
So one of the misconceptions, though, about Lobby Day, and it's something that I learned too, I had heard about lobbying, or I had seen people who show up on buses with signs and, no more, whatever their cause was, right? And what I learned the first time I actually did it was that's not how you do it. It's all about small meetings so that you can be heard. When you're in a big group holding up signs and yelling, that may work for some things. That may work for Black Lives Matter, right? That may work for police reform. That may work for a lot of things, but it doesn't always work for actually getting them to listen. Yeah. So, when I did it in DC, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this. This is very cool. And meetings, I love having meetings. How many meetings do we have all the time? Like a lot.
That was one of the things we talked about in the lobby workshop. So I feel like that's what really helped us, because we, had kind of lost track of you all. And then we ended up in that meeting. I still don't really know how we ended up in that meeting, but I do know that we kept saying, okay, let's break up. Let's go. You talk to this person, you talk over here. So it has to be some type of strategy behind it. But not only that, I was actually talking to a state legislator. I can't remember her name, but she was saying that not only does it take lobbying, but we have to put action to actually write the legislation out. Because they have
That's the hard part.
Coming across their desk.
Yeah.
Not only do we need them to listen, but we have to kind of spoon feed them a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
What can you, or where do you think people like us should start in learning that process?
That's difficult. I'm still learning it. But what I did learn is that it doesn't have to, when you start writing, it doesn't have to look like it doesn't start where it ends up. Like I said, when we threw spaghetti at the wall, we said, we want this, we want that, we want all this stuff. It really starts with a list of stuff you want. It doesn't look like, it doesn't get into law language until much later. It all just starts with ideas, pieces of paper. You don't have to say whereas, wherefore, henceforth, and this, thus and such. You don't have to do all that.
I feel like that's a barrier to entry for a lot of stuff, but specifically around the laws and policy and understanding what things mean. For example, like the
fair tax.
That's what I was about to say, the fair tax. Like, okay, they're calling it the fair tax. Is it fair?
Who's it fair to? What is it? What's it fair?
Why is it named that? Why is it named?
Let's talk about the psychology here.
Yeah, I like how progressive you guys are. You seem to me always kind of wise beyond your years, and a very serious couple. Y'all are very serious people.
What?
Yeah.
Oh.
No, I'm a nice guy.
Boy, I'm not gonna lie to you, this pandemic has worked out for us, because this whole Zoom thing, it's gotten us into a lot of rooms that I don't feel like we would have necessarily been able to walk right into.
There you go.
Are.
Like what?
We are, you know?
Like what?
I just mean, okay, so for instance, when I was working with the federal government, it was always like some type of regulations. I had to wear this, I had to do this, I couldn't do that. You know, I had a security clearance, I worked on base. It was just like a lot of BS. Yeah, a lot of bullshit.
And you can really be yourself now.
Yeah, I definitely feel like I can be myself, you know, working with groups like you.
Yeah, Chicago NORML is actually pretty cool. I kind of got wrapped up last night when I was supposed to be just going through photos, right? Trying to pull together some pictures so that I can Ken Burns them into a video. And then I started looking at some of the old meetings, which I didn't even know we had video of all these meetings. So shout out to Stephen for that. And I was like, damn, these meetings are informative as hell. This is pretty good shit.
I miss the Chicago NORML meetings. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, man, I ain't gonna lie. I really
I don't even. Damn, did I only make it to one?
It was fun going to the meetings and then
I went
meeting
to some
people
workshops.
who like, cause you know, so many people act like the weed, like stoners and this, that. Like, damn, bro, that shit is really lame. And then when you go to a place and it's like people who are talking about weed, talking about hemp, talking about the laws behind it, the real, like how it can affect our community. Like, damn, this shit is dope. I like this. You know what I'm saying? And it kind of just throws the thing right out the window. Like, come on, bro, let's get to work.
It's normal. It's really normal shit.
Yeah.
You know, the online meetings have not been that bad. But what I do miss about the online meetings is the networking afterwards. Sometimes I miss it and sometimes I don't, because that networking, I'll be like, I have to leave now. I've been here for hours. I have to leave now. And with Zoom, you just be like, okay, bye.
Yeah. I remember seeing you at those little meetings and stuff, and you used to be like, okay, I'm about to go, and then you'll get your bags. You'll be like, okay, bye. And somebody, hey, yeah, I wanted to talk to you one more thing. Oh, okay, all right. I remember
It would be
seeing
forever.
It was cool though, you know, it was cool.
It'd be forever getting out of there. Shoot, that forum at UIC. Was it UIC?
I told you how they were on her ass.
I heard. I couldn't even go. I had to be at home, but yeah.
I've talked so much that day. I hadn't even eaten. I stood by the side of the stage, and I think it was 2 other panels that had gone on or something. It was crazy. Yeah, but I like it. I like talking to people.
Yeah, you definitely are committed.
That was a lot of stuff happened that day. Like, I mean, you know, like records was broke kind of a little bit, because that was like.
For real?
Yeah, they said it was like the largest
cannabis,
resource fair.
Yeah,
largest
cannabis resource fair. You know what I'm saying?
That's dope. And look, so many Black people there. Oh, I was like, look at all this melanin. I love it. It was wonderful.
Okay, well, we can go ahead and sign off.
I guess that's it.
Come on, man. Hey.
Junior got them all like riled up.
So I did want to like have you sign off with,
yeah, like plug whatever you want.
Plug whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
Let everybody know where they can find you, and
where can they find me? Where can they find me?
773.
So like I said, I'm Edie. I hang out with Chicago NORML and folks like this all the time. That's at chicagonormal.org and Chicago NORML on all the socials, except YouTube. I don't know what the name of that YouTube is, but you can search Chicago NORML and that's where I'm at.
The YouTube is info@chicagonormal.org.
Is it?
Yeah, you switched it.
Thanks, Candace.
Great. So definitely that is a wrap for the first episode of Link Up in the Lobby. I am Candace. You can find me at I am Candace Clark.
And I'm Dave. You can find me at Link up, because this is what I'm doing. I'm linking up. I'm outside. You can see me anytime you go outside. You can see me.
And I'll put the right handle at the bottom. I got you.
She's gonna put the little link in. How they say subscribe.
All right. Subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notice.
All right, that's a wrap, y'all.
Thank you.
Ain't
so
got
much.
no choice. It's either hoop or be a dope boy. I wanna roll in a Rolls Royce, but when you young and black, you ain't got no voice. His homie stabbed him in the back. Watch for your own boy. She sold a